Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am looking at a product which actually I think I found it on a Real Steel firearm YouTube video. I don't think it was Garand Thumb, but it was something like that. Saw this this grip, actually this pistol grip for an AR, PDW, SMG that I really like the look of. Very different looking, and so when I saw it online I thought I really actually want one of those and I'm going to put it on one of my replicas. Now I'm not sure which replica I want to put it on, but it is something that I think could look quite good on this, which is a APFG MPX K, copy of the Sig Sauer MPX K, and this is kind of the short version with the copper head upper to it. And so I kind of thought, you know what, I've got the K2 Plus from Magpul grip on this, but it's kind of a good video that I wanted to do where I can change it out. I can show you guys what it's like to change a pistol grip on the actual gas blowback replica, and we can have a look and kind of see if it's actually something that looks good or if I should change it back. Now the company is called Die Free Co. or Die Free Company. Website diefree.com, diefree.com, and they make this grip that's called the Kung Fu grip. Now it is very vertical and a bit different looking, so I'm quite excited to kind of open this up and show you guys. I just put the tape on, opened it up, so we're ready to go. Have not looked at it yet, but the other things that I've also ordered from there is they've just released this thing called a Tiger Claw, which is almost a front hand stop. Again, I think I can put it on the M-LOK on this, we'll see, but I think it probably isn't going to be something that fits on there, but it might be interesting just to see what it looks like. And then they actually have a plug also that goes in the bottom of the pistol grip, which I'm going to put on there. So I'm going to open this up. It's pretty cool branding just from the start. That is the Tiger Claw. So that is the actual hand stop that we're going to do. Obviously, they've just got some very, very cool imagery and branding on this. That's the Tiger Claw. I got one in black. I also got one in FDE. I'm not sure which will look better on here. We can have a look and just see what we want to do. These are the plugs that go in the bottom of the grip. I got two of those because I also got two grips. And this is the style of the grip that is on there. And I got a black one and an FDE one. And then they've also given me a very cool brain with NVGs on sticker. I don't really use stickers, but I'll put that to one side. And so I'm excited to see what's in here. Let's find out what this looks like. This is the FDE one. This feels like opening like candy or something, this. So this is the FDE one, and as you can see, it's pretty weird looking. It's got this kind of stippling on it, but the stippling it's almost like different symbols. So that's kind of how it's going to sit and feel. But I do like the look of it, and what's going to happen is one of these little plugs, which actually takes the CR123 batteries in there, or I could put other stuff in. Looks like you could put a Allen key or other things in there, and then that's going to sit there and plug into the bottom. It's kind of like a rubberized, it goes in, but it's pretty tough to get in there. And that actually just gives you a little bit more on the bottom. As I've said in like multiple videos, I've got pretty big hands, and so having a grip actually with this plug, I thought it's going to be a lot better than not having it, because I kind of like that this is so stiff to get out, because you don't want it kind of dropping out, especially if you have a couple of batteries in there. But also it's going to take me I've got to get it back out to actually put this in. It's obviously coming with a screw. Tiger Claw. So I don't know, I think we should maybe, because I've got it two-tone, black and then FDE, I might do a black grip on it, and then the Tiger Claw maybe do that FDE as well. And then we've kind of got that stripe. I don't know. I'm going to try it. Let me know, guys, in the comments, as always, if you think this is a good idea or you think it's a bad idea. Like, I love this Magpul K2 Plus grip. It's obviously going to be bigger, so you can see there. It's kind of got more of a rubberized texture on it, which I really like as well. And the angle of this, I love. So there's a very, very strong chance that I could end up just going straight back to this grip. And we'll see that at the end. I'll probably not do it in the video because you guys don't want to see that. But the way I'm going to remove this is I've got a little bolt right in there as I drop my suppressor. I've got a little bolt right in there. So what I'm going to do is remove that with an Allen key. We'll have to find the right sized one. I had a lot of good feedback, guys, on the video I did, which was taking actually the orange flash hider off one of the replicas, and another one where I went through the AirTac. I need to be careful here because there is a screw that I need to... In fact, that is going to be something that I need to do here, I think. So you see that there? I think I'm going to have to get a grub screw and just screw that into that, into the top of that hole, because there is in here there's a spring and it sits right in the spot there where you don't want it kind of heading down, because what it does is it has the tensioner for, so you can see here it's got two screws there, sorry, two springs, and the two springs that are right there, one does the actual tensioner on the fire selector, and the other one does a, you know what I can do? Use my sandbag. Does the tensioner on the fire selector, and the other one does the kind of bolt catch. This is actually going to work. It does where this, sorry, this bolt is, you know, the rear pin that's going to kind of open that up. That is going to kind of stop it from pushing all the way through so you don't lose it. I'm going to right now see if I can grab a couple of grub screws. Okay, so this is my grub screw set, and actually if we're going to go with the black Kung Fu grip, I'm going to get that out, put this to one side, and get the black one out. So price on this, guys, actually was really good. You know, you're not expecting to pay a huge amount probably for a piece of plastic. It's got cool stickers in here as well. You're not expecting to pay a huge amount for a piece of plastic, but normally, you know, you're going to spend $30, $40. This was $20. I think the plug was $12, and the claw, the tiger claw, let me just check on that. I think that was another 20 maybe. Tiger claw, yeah, 20, 20, and 12. So not bad, to be honest. I think that's, you know, I'm spending a bit of money obviously here. Let me just see what size. As I drop the actual bolt which was holding that in place, I need to not lose that. Let me see what size this is. I think we're going to have one of those. Yeah. So let's hope that this fits in. And what I'm basically going to have to do, guys, is... now I've just lost the actual thing. What I have to do is plug that hole. So that hole is the issue that I'm going to have, where it's going to allow that spring to drop down in there. And I didn't realize this when I last did it, because I did the actual changing of the handguard, and then for whatever reason I didn't realize that the spring was not being kept taut. So I went on Reddit and I was looking through what people were saying, and it took me a long time to realize the reason that my fire selector had just gone limp, like wasn't actually holding in place. It was this really soft return that I was getting. It just wouldn't kind of like click like you would expect a fire selector to, was because that spring was dropping down into that hole. So what I'm doing right now is basically just getting this scrub screw, and I am inserting it into the hole, and I basically just want to get it flush, and that should prevent that spring from dropping into that hole. So as you can see here, I've just screwed that in. I learned again this from Reddit. So if you do a change of your pistol grip and you're thinking, what have I done, or why isn't this sitting correctly, then that is probably the reason, is your spring is just kind of retracting into that hole. So this actual bolt that comes with it is too thick for the MPX K. I think that's going to vary just depending on what a replica you're attaching it to, which gas blowback. But this guy here should be fine. The one that comes with the actual replica. I think it was the same with the K2 Plus from Magpul. So if you're installing one of those, it's going to be the same situation. But that is going to hold in place, and that's not going to come through that hole. So I should be fine, but we will see. So what I'm going to do is make sure those springs stay there and don't come out, and try not to lose those because they are really annoying to lose. I am going to put this down and wiggle it into place. So that's going to sit right there. And then I'm going to tighten this up. So try and remember what the MPX K looked like, guys, before. Just make sure I'm not stripping the screw here. Try and remember what the MPX K looked like before I did the change. This isn't sitting in right, which is weird. I think the angle of this might be wrong for the MPX K. And I don't want to break it at all, because once I screw the lower up, so do, again, as I'm trying to do now, guys, be careful, because you don't want to strip the threads on the screw or screw up the threads on the inside of your... It's weird, it feels like it is in place and it's turning, but I just don't want it to break it. So this is what it's going to look like, guys. You know what's interesting is that's not sitting flush, and I think it might be. What I need to do is pull this out, and then I'm going to try and knock this and just see if I can position it in place. This isn't going to be a great video, guys, I'm afraid, if I can't get this put in. Okay, so that's sitting in there right now. So that wasn't in far enough. So I'm hoping that now will have sorted the direction of this, and that we will be able to put it straight in. Which is odd, because if it was a screw that it wasn't the one that was in here previously, I would be like, oh right, the screw's the wrong size. I mean, it's going in. Just feels very tight, and maybe that's just the sizing of the actual screw just in that hole, but you'd expect it to be relatively easy to go in. Okay, so I want to know what you guys think about the look of this, because that is probably going to be one of the main factors of whether I put the K2 Plus back in or if I remain with this. I've actually got another MPX K, which you've probably seen. That's kind of my favorite one. This is very cool, but the reason that I'm actually not as big a fan of it right now is because I actually got the top shooter bolt, which seems like an upgrade bolt because it is made out of metal. It's like an aluminium bolt, but it just does not have the same performance as the stock polymer plastic bolt, and so close. And so I actually found that it's actually just damaging the BBs. If it hits at the wrong angle, the BBs are just getting damaged. Okay, so that feels like that's pretty solidly in there. So that is what this is going to be like, and I'm not sure I love that. I mean, the actual... I mean, it's not bad, actually, to be honest. Like, the angle of it, for me, looks very, very vertical. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but it's very, very vertical compared even to the K2 Plus. I mean, it's kind of weird because you have both of your hands very vertical here. There is no kind of take up. The angle of the wrist is kind of very comfortable, but I just don't know if maybe I'd prefer this on a slightly bigger replica or something, just with a bit more kind of stock on it or space between. But it does mean that I can keep this really, really tight into myself. I think it does look quite cool with the black. Anyway, guys, what do you think of that? What do you think of how that looks? Because it's just such a beautiful... If I have it on... Yeah, I mean, this thing is absolutely amazing. The trigger on this is just beautiful to use. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like there. So what I think I'm going to do then is try and put the tiger claw on the front of this. But I do think that I don't know if it's actually going to be useful. Like, this is the shortened upper. So the backstory of this is I got an MPX K, absolutely loved it. Annoyingly, when you get the APFG MPX K, normally they don't have branding on them. They don't have the SIG trades. It's not a licensed replica. So therefore, I actually saw that for quite a cheap amount of money, I bought this upper, which is the copperhead. So it's a lot shorter, one-piece upper. It comes with the barrel installed, the hop up, everything is there. It doesn't have the bolt in place, but I was like, oh, you know what's kind of cool is I'll have another upper that I can switch out with my MPX K. So I've got my MPX K. It's got a Midwest Industries. In fact, I'll show it to you. This is my normal MPX K. It's got a Midwest Industries handguard on it. I've got a little hand stop on here from Magpul. It's got a tracer on it. So what I could effectively do is just remove this or take the actual upper off with these two pins and then put this upper on it. And so I would have two versions of my MPX K, a shorter one and a bigger one. And this I think was about $150. So it meant that I could have two versions. I could just switch the bolt out. And then I saw about a week later, because I just liked that setup way more, I saw about a week later that you could get one of these lowers for like $120. And the lower comes with the trigger, came with everything included. So I was like, oh, you know what? If I buy that lower, what I could do is just basically use the lower and then I've already got the upper there. And they sold like a top shooter bolt that would kind of go in there. So I was like, I don't have a bolt for it right now because I was switching between the two. I'll buy that top shooter bolt. And then I've basically got two MPX Ks for like not as much money. And what I didn't realize, but when it turned up, which is why I think they were selling them cheap, is it already had trades on it. Now, the story is that APFG is VFC, and what they ended up doing was they fell out with Sig Sauer. And so they had the deal for the trades. They've got other deals with them, like on their AEG, and they messed up or they had some kind of falling out, and Sig Sauer removed the actual trades for what they were doing. So they set up a separate company called APFG. APFG continued to build the Sig Sauer replica without trades on it. And I think that before they'd actually done that and lost the licensing, they'd built a load of these already which had the licensing on them. So I think JK Army were like, we need to get rid of these. So they didn't mention on the site that it came with trades, because I think legally you have to be a bit careful with that. But this turned out with full trades, and I was like, wow, I wish my other one had trades, and I really want to get those put on. If you know someone in the US or in Southern California specifically who can laser etch those trades on, let me know, because I'd really like to do that. But yeah, this is something which I basically built out of that, but I can't find an actual bolt that is the stock one. They do sell them, they're just sold out everywhere. And the top shooter bolt, which is supposed to be an upgrade, it's like an aluminium one. When this cycles sometimes, I'll show you, it's that purple bolt right in there. When this cycles, if it doesn't feed the BB fully, that thing can clip the BB and chip it. And so I've had misfeeds or things where the BB's actually shot out the side. And especially with the rate of fire that this thing has, I'll show you that quickly. Let me just do this. So that's running out of gas, but the rate of fire on this is very high, so I was having some issues. So I'm looking for that bolt. Again, if you know someone who has that, let me know. But that is kind of the story of how this thing was created. So it's not my favorite MPX K, but I also have quite a few MPX K mags now, and I kind of thought to myself, when my friends actually come out with me, they may want to play. So this is what it's going to look like, and I think this isn't going to work. I think it's going to be really, really strange with that. Should we put it on anyway and just kind of see if that looks or works at all? I mean, we can kind of check out the look of it first, which I think is going to look pretty strange, to be honest. We could try and do it that way, which means that I've got that to hold on to. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put it on that way, and then I've kind of got this little bump that I can hold on to. I think normally the Tiger Claw is supposed to go the other way. I'm sure you can run it either way, but I presume if it's like a hand stop, you know, you're going to be running it that way. Actually, yeah, you can run it that way. So you can have it normally as a hand stop, so it's kind of underneath, but I could just kind of grip onto this. I don't think it's going to get in the way of the magazine as I'm putting that in. So I'm going to try it. So with this, guys, it's going to be your normal M-LOK clips, which if you haven't done an M-LOK install before, they're relatively easy, but you do have to kind of get a bit of a knack for it. So these bolts here, these flat bolts, they're going to be hooking underneath the rail. So what you need to do is, let me just see what size of Allen key we're going to need, hex key. I'm going to put this in. The other thing I'll show you actually as well is I have a Sandman suppressor from PTS, which is over there, the one that I just dropped on the floor. And what I'm going to do is get one of these. They are really cool. Like, I actually weirdly had an issue with one of them where it just wasn't sitting on the flash hider properly, because they attach directly to flash hiders that you have to get. And it just wasn't really like attaching to it properly. I actually spoke to the guys at Airsoft Extreme, and they are, I think, the main dealer for PTS in the US. So they actually just changed it out for me. Luckily, their one of their stores is very close to here, and so I just went in there and they said, right, we'll fix this for you. Took them about 5 minutes, and they went through, changed, I think, the collar on one of them, and it started working perfectly. And I think the style of suppressor on these is really, really cool. So I'm going to show you that. The one thing is, so I haven't put any thread lock on this because I'm not definitely going to put it on, but that is something you probably will want to do. So I've now attached the M-LOK rail, so you can see it's kind of the flatter bit is at the bottom there, and then the actual bolt is on the inside. What I now need to do is just situate these inside here. And now the trick to this is you almost need to rotate that inside plate about 90 degrees on each of them. And then you need to pull up. And one of them is taken, the other one hasn't. So I'm going to rotate that a little bit more. So now what I'm doing is I'm pulling up on this so that it keeps the tension on it. I actually might see if the bigger one might work for this. So I don't want to strip it. Yeah, that's a bit better. So as I'm pulling up, I'm then tightening, and I'm going to tighten one a little bit, and then I'm going to tighten the other one a little bit. Because what I need to do is make sure that they don't just keep rotating underneath. I need it to bite in and hold this grip in place. So that is in place there. So guys, that is gonna, I actually quite like that. Weirdly, it kind of gives me like a front hand grip. Let me just try this now. Yeah, you know what? I actually really like that. This on here I've got as a streamlight. The one thing actually though, which is going to be annoying, is before I could put my hand straight over here and hold my streamlight with my laser and my flashlight on it. This is going to make that a lot harder. So maybe I need to put a pressure pad on the top here. So that might be something I do. But I have to say that does actually make it very, very comfortable. I can get my hand under there, but it's not nearly as easy to do. So that's what it's going to look like now, guys. I don't know. I do think this looks a little bit weird, but it definitely works. And I don't know what you think of that aesthetic. But that is the plug in the Kung Fu. What's it called? Kung Fu grip. That's right. And then I've got the Tiger Claw, and that's from diefree.com. As I said, this is $20, this is $12, and this is another $20. So for $52. I've managed to change my MPX K from what it looked like into this. So hopefully you guys found that interesting, and hopefully that was of value, kind of showing you how to change out a pistol grip on your replica. I'm going to leave it like this for now, but I am going to set my K2 Plus aside because I absolutely love this thing and I put it on nearly every single replica that I have. So that might be something that I go back to. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I will see you very soon on the next video. Oh, hold on. Hopefully you didn't turn off already. This is the flash hider I've got on here. I'm actually going to change it, make it something a little bit more compact. But this basically just sits on these 3 little gaps here. So I can just sit it down. I say as I fail to do it. I can sit it down like that, and then all I'm doing is rotating this, tightening it, and you can hear that clicking, and that turns that into this. And actually that looks effing awesome. Boom, 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 boom. So I've got a tracer in here. Obviously it's a kind of suppressor, and it's so solid on here. Like you can't wiggle it. And then if I want to remove it, I just unscrew, remove it like that. And it's, yeah, it's just such a good bit of kit. So these are expensive. I think they're about $120 to get that. But that is my MPX K for the second time. Hope you guys are great, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.